I'm starting to really enjoy the SJW community tearing itself apart, because they have a problem. They want to attack the so-called skeptic community, which, let's just face it, is more accurately called the anti-SJW community, which sometimes includes conservatives and sometimes includes anti-conservatives who usually only talk about conservatives, but SJWs are just so fucking toxic that they talk about them as well. I'm not really any different from that particular crowd. Like I said, this channel used to be atheist and directed primarily at the Christian conservative right, and I'm still anti-Christian conservative right. However, I view SJWs to be a much more significant problem and a much more direct threat to freedom and freedom of choice, freedom of the individual, which is really what this channel is all about. Okay? That you can identify both the Christian conservative right and the SJWs as threats to freedom. But what I find fascinating is I'm repeatedly finding that SJWs don't know who to attack anymore, because they have divided themselves among racial lines, which doesn't help their cause at all. Now there's so-called white feminists, and if you get identified as one, you lose basically all of your feminist street cred, which I think is hilarious. And the other thing is when anti-SJWs, the so-called skeptics, turn around and start attacking the alt-right, which is not a particularly lucrative thing to do, as the alt-right actually has a surprisingly significant presence on YouTube, and if you draw their ire as a group, sort of get yourself written up on a forum, you will get a lot of hate mail, a lot of dislikes, and a lot of angry comments disagreeing with you. I don't particularly see any problem with that, but it is kind of annoying, because I've had, in defending Kraut and Tea, I've drawn the ire of these people too. But what I found hilarious is on my old video where I said that people were lying about Kraut and Tea in regards to that Rage After Storm getting disinvited from a political organization that she was not actually employed by. So, the whole shtick about her getting fired because of Kraut is a lie. She wasn't actually employed. She was just basically an affiliated blogger who was unaffiliated because of Kraut. Ooh, big fucking whoop. People love to lie to exaggerate problems. That's the trademark of both the alt-right and SJWs. What I found fascinating is there's this guy named Thomas who only recently commented on that rather old video now and decided, and I looked this guy up, he is an SJW. His channel is around 3,000 to 4,000 subscriber SJW channel. All he does is attack the skeptic community. He attacks V, he attacks Sargon, he attacks, whoever. He's an SJW, like far left through and through, total cuckface. But get this. So the guy comes on there, and I at first think he's alt-right, like the rest of the people who are bitching at me in that comment section, because he's calling me trailer park trash, mostly attacking my looks, trying to call me like low T-fag, and I'm like, this guy's alt-right. No, he's just using alt-right slang for some strange reason. And he says Kraut is a Nazi because his grandmother is a racist, and he laughed at his grandmother's racism. Well, first of all, old-timey senile racism is funny. It's very funny. It's used extensively in comedy because it's a funny trope. Okay? That doesn't make anyone a Nazi, and laughing at a racist does not necessarily mean you agree with them. We laugh at people we don't like all the time. For the lulz is a thing, you dumbass. But he called Kraut a Nazi and said that Kraut was acting with the alt-right when Kraut is currently, getting bombarded with hate mail by the alt-right because he's focused extensively and exclusively on the alt-right for months. Not necessarily, helping his channel out, because it is true that there's a portion of the anti-SJW community which is strictly alt-right. And the alt-right sometimes crosses their party lines into the centrists and even liberals, because of a common enemy. But of course, if any of those people are like in your audience, all of a sudden you're one of them. This guilt by association bullshit, as we keep going round and round in the circular reasoning. So this guy ad hominems me and says that Rage After a Storm, who's an actual white supremacist, is not, but Kraut is, and I'm a Nazi for siding with Kraut against the alt-right. You heard me right. You heard me. I'm a Nazi because Crowd is a Nazi for attacking the alt-right. I thought this guy was a troll. No, I looked up his channel. All SJW shit. But he sides with the alt-right because he doesn't like anti-feminists. He hates anti-feminists that much. That's how you know you're dealing with a cult, ladies and gentlemen. So, Thomas, if you're watching, I have no idea. Fuck you. You're an idiot and a lunatic, and you're another perfect example of why SJWs are completely unhinged fucking psychopaths and very bad people with absolutely no principles, no integrity, and are made of just virtually nothing but compressed confirmation bias and just sheer bias. You know, that's what your body is made out of instead of atoms. Like, that's how fucking just beyond the pale you are. Kill yourself. Seriously.